All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a rather busy, stormy afternoon, but wanted to give everyone an update on where we're at, what we can expect. And first and foremost, let's just start with the tornado watch that was issued probably about 15, 20 minutes ago. Tornado watch until 11 p.m. So, as you can imagine, some tornadoes are likely. Hail up to could be baseball size. Let's hope we don't see a whole lot of that. Wind gust up to 70 miles an hour. And unfortunately, we do have the threat of these thunderstorms. While they may not produce a tornado in any particular storm, they may have hail. It may be wind-driven hail in the worst of the storms. So that's something we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on. It's bad enough to have hail, but it is you do definitely do not want it to be wind-driven hail. That's for sure. So again, you can see the tornado watch covers all of North Texas until 11 p.m. Pretty much anywhere in North Texas, you're under a tornado watch. So if you have family south, east, west, north, they're pretty much going to be under the gun here. So if you don't think they know about what's going on this afternoon, make sure you just give them a call, give them a text, something like that to let them know that we have some potentially bad weather going on. Well, here's the laser radar scan, and as you can see, it is lighting up rather quickly from really just about an hour ago. So we have these thunderstorms, the severe ones so far. You can see from the yellow box northwest of us, so west of Decatur, right in Jacksboro, south of Bowie. I do have a storm that was trying to get going southwest of Denton. It's lost a little bit of its identity, which is a good thing. But as you can see, there are more storms forming as we speak. So go ahead and put this in motion. And the general motion is going to be northeast at about 30 miles an hour or so. So you can see these storms want to, some of them want to spin a little bit. Nothing terribly concerning yet, but the atmosphere is definitely primed for that. There's no doubt about that. So again, general northeast movement, and if we expand this out a little bit more, you see that there's some storms out near Abilene, so storms south of Hillsboro. So let's zoom back in here just a little bit, and we'll go ahead and put the velocity on here. And not really expecting to see much of anything right now, but that could change. So that's good. So not a whole lot of spin in the atmosphere right now, but that could change. So any one of these storms, although we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings in the immediate Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex, that could probably change. It probably will change between now and 6 p.m. for sure. And if you watched my video yesterday evening, these models have definitely come more into line of these storms moving through 5, 6, 7 o'clock tonight. So I still think that's probably a good timeline. However, you can see these storms in southwest of Fort Worth and southwest of downtown Dallas. Nothing too bad right now. It's just something we're definitely going to have to watch. And we put this in motion again. You can kind of get an idea. Just 1:30, not a whole lot out there. But then, as the atmosphere has gotten warm, if you've gone outside, then you've definitely seen or definitely felt that it is much more humid than it was uh, even just 3 or 4 hours ago, which I kind of talked about this morning in my update. So, what should you expect the rest of the afternoon? Well, more of this, unfortunately. And I would say if you have outdoor plans, I know there's a lot of the Rangers are playing, Taylor Swift's in town, uh, IndyCar races in town. So I just know there's a lot going on. So if you're out and about this afternoon, if you're traveling, probably more likely if you're traveling back from one of those locations, that's where you really want to keep an eye on things. So anytime between now, I would say it's the timeline is kind of backed up a little bit. I would say anytime between now and 8 p.m. We're going to watch this because unfortunately this is not a situation to where you kind of get a couple storms and everything moves through and you're done. I think some people could see multiple rounds of storms, which is obviously not good. So it's not going to be one of those one and done things. That's why you're going to have to be vigilant most of the afternoon. So that's something that we just definitely want to keep an eye on. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on it for you. So in summary, nothing severe in the immediate Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. I'd certainly expect that to change in the next couple hours, unfortunately. Hopefully, most of us will avoid the worst of the worst. But as you can see, it's just popping all over the place. So let's zoom in on a couple of these storms and look at the velocity. And the good news is there's nothing much going on there. But if you look at let's look at the hydrometer classification. here. Yeah, you're starting to see maybe a small hail core in this storm south of Willow Park. And then these storms out south of Mineral Wells, definitely starting to see some more hail, and you're going to see more and more of that. And then these storms, of course, northwest of Dallas Fort Worth, Jacksboro, Decatur, out that way, you can definitely see hail cores there. And although this is getting further away from the radar site, because remember, the further away you are, um, the beam goes higher in the cloud. So you may see a lot of hail signatures in these particular cells, but it's really high up in the cloud. It doesn't mean that it's reaching the ground. So that's something to keep in mind there. Hello, Angela. Why do I think of buying a storm shelter on the day of storms? Well, hopefully it's not because it's a premonition, that's for sure. Well, unfortunately in North Texas, storm shelters are needed potentially way more than we want to have to think about that. That is for sure. Probably a little bit too late now, Angela, at least for today anyway, unless you can get it installed really, really fast. All right, so this Duncanville storm, north at 20, don't have a hail signature on that one. And this cell southwest of Burleson got a hail signature, not too big, half inch. That doesn't mean the half inch is reaching the ground. It just means it's what's scanned into the cloud. But as you can see, especially these storms that are west and northwest of us, the purple doesn't always mean that it is hailing on the reflectivity signature. It just means, technically it just means it's a very, very heavy precipitation rate. And a lot of times, though, when you see these purple on the reflectivity, it does mean it could be hail. And that's why we go to the hydrometer classification, because that kind of gives us at least a better idea that there's really hail in these storms. So it's something that we look at. That's a great thing about Doppler radar, is that they have so many different modes that you can look at. Reflectivity, velocity, obviously, for wind speed and rotation within the storm, the hydrometer classification layer for hailstones. There's just a lot that goes into it that gives us many more tools than we used to. And we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning. Not shocked at all for these storms that are in the Mineral Wells, Millsap, and then approaching Weatherford. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and $half size hail, so not even the generic quarter size hail. So that's something we definitely want to keep watching. That is for sure. So in summary, let's talk about what you can do think about between now and probably 5-6 o'clock. So first and foremost, and I don't say this to alarm anybody, is just have a plan of action if you need it. So the most likely thing you would see today, hopefully you won't see anything severe, but the most likely thing you would see if it were severe would be hail. Doesn't mean you're going to see baseball size. Doesn't mean you're going to see golf ball size. But you might see some. So just think about that. So if you can protect anything that's extra sensitive to hail, i.e. cars, you may want to shelter them if you can. The next thing we could see, and again, statistically, not very many people at all would see a tornado. But if you did see a tornado, think about now what you would do. If you're at home, interior room, and the lowest floor of your house, if you have helmets, a bicycle helmet, a motorcycle helmet, a batting helmet, anything like that, put that on your head. Most of the injuries and sometimes deaths in tornadoes have to do with blunt force trauma to the head. So you want to protect yourself. If something fell on you, hopefully if you had the helmet on, that would protect you from any blunt force. Now, I say all that to say, is that something that is going to happen? No, most of us won't see that at all. Oh, you're welcome, Jennifer. You're very welcome. Appreciate your comment. So it's just something that you just want to be prepared now when you're not in the moment. And sometimes when we're in the moment, we don't think about the rational things to do. So that's why I mentioned that. And as I mentioned, between now and 8 o'clock, maybe even 9 o'clock, we're going to have to deal with this. And like I said, it won't be a one and done type thing. Unfortunately, it'll be more of a potential, hey, one round moves through and another round moves through. And this radar presentation here kind of gives you a good example. So we have these storms west and northwest of DFW, and then you have some storms back down near Abilene that will head our way again. Now, at the end of this system, I think eventually these storms will merge and form more of a squall line type thing, which still can be dangerous, especially with wind. but it's just something we got to watch between now and then. All right, so I don't see any other comments, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for now. Unfortunately, I will be back, I think, with the way this weather's setting up. If you have comments, I'll try to catch those. And when things get a little more active, which unfortunately won't probably be very long, I'll chime back on and see what we got and tell you what to do. And we'll get all through this together like we always do. Well, as always, I'm watching the weather so you don't have to. Hope everyone has a good afternoon as best we can with the challenging weather we got. And most likely, I will talk to you soon. But as always, thanks for watching. Appreciate you.